what's really, really, really good. You know what it is. The one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And of course, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And since I love spelling, how about we spell this? RWBY. Ruby Worrells, White Schnee, Blake Belladonna, and best wife in the world, Yang Zhao Long, but don't tell the other three. But yo, seriously, yo, the one and the only triple the G.O.D. with you, man. About to get into this RWBY business. But before we get into Volume 4 and how I am more of a problem than a solution to the problem in the first place, and we'll talk about that some other time, is that we need to back up and rewind a little bit. Because before we can talk about Volume 4, is that we really need to, really take a look at what has shaped what RWBY is going to be from now on, because I have to think about this because I'm trying to be intelligent about this. About RWBY is a show that right now, that inside and out of it is surrounded by a lot of loss and a lot of pain with what has happened with the show behind the scenes and what happened at the end of Volume 3. And the most appreciative palate cleanser that was RWBY Chibi that leads us into Volume 4, because it's a shame that Montiome doesn't get to see his opus finished because he was taken from us way too soon. From what I understand is that there have been a lot of people who were very vital to what made RWBY work, who no longer work on a show anymore and things like that. So is that Volume 4, as I see it, is a reflection of growth, because there is a very stark different look between the way the first 3 volumes look and the more anime-ish look of Volume 4. And it's and I really want to see it in it's as not as I see it, but more as how I look at it, because seeing and looking are two different things. Look it up. Is this new vision for what the show looks like is a real reflection of the direction that the show is going now. Because there are a lot of new things that are going on behind the scenes that reflect what it is that we're looking at as viewers. And also because of all of its pain and hurt that inside and outside the show that surrounds it, is we're seeing the world in a different way. That the first 3 volumes of RWBY were for building up Beacon and everything that surrounded it in this immediate circle. After the events of Volume 3, the world is bigger now. The 4 characters that we have spent years growing up and learning to care about and enjoy to watch and love to see are now separated and are living their own lives separate of each other. Everybody has their own problems, and I really think that these next couple of volumes are ultimately going to get our 4 girls back together. But right now, because of all the shit that Volume 3 was, because it was one of those emotional ringer level roller coasters, especially that final volume, that final episode of Volume 3. That shit hurt. Everything about that was fucked up. How about that? That's what it was. And I can appreciate a show that's willing to take those type of chances with characters like that, to make these drastic changes so much, because this was a show that needed to grow. At first, it was a show that I felt that because of the way that the show was looking near the end of Volume 3, that was growing because it needed to grow. No, now it's growing because it needs to. Because again, like we talked about earlier, there are a lot of behind the scenes things that are different now. A lot. So a lot of what fans are going to see now is going to be a reflection of this changing guard. So, I don't know. Is that I will back up a little bit, and I will say that I am thankful that RWBY Chibi exists. Because like I said, after the emotional ringer of Volume 3, is that we as fans, and I don't want to speak for the cast and crew that work on this show, because I really think that even just for us as an emotional cleanser of just something like with characters that we love, is that I really think that because of all the loss that the cast and crew has suffered to put on the show that we all love. They needed something like RWBY Chibi to fucking relax. So I'm like, yo, I will take the time and say this. Nor was the best thing about RWBY Chibi. You can hold L's if you don't believe, dog, swear. It's like everything RWBY Chibi was amazing, but like the recently the BAN episode of Atlanta, the interdimensional cable shows of Rick and Morty, I don't know if there should be a RWBY Chibi every year. I don't think there should be a volume and then a RWBY Chibi after it. RWBY Chibi should be treated like Tekken Tag. Every time there's a series of video games, then there's Tekken Tag. Tekken 1, 2, and 3, Tekken Tag 1. Tekken 4, 5, and 6, Tekken Tag 2. Tekken 7 and whatever the hell's come after it, then the Tekken Tag 3. I just honestly think, for real, there does not need to be a RWBY Chibi after every volume. Because because of the emotional ringer and roller coaster that fans went through, and I have to believe the cast and crew went through with their things internally behind the scenes, is that everybody needed something light. Everybody. I don't know if Volume 4 is really finna go dig back deep into the well of ripping your heart out and shoving it back down your throat. Like, you were invested in this character and now they're fucked. I don't really think that this is going to be a volume about that, because this is a volume about each of our 4 main characters exploring themselves, because all 4 of them got shit to deal with and the things that surround them. And it's probably going to take more than one volume to get around to see what's going on with Weiss, with Blake, and with Yang. It's probably going to take a little more time to get around to each of them, because we have as viewers, we now have the rest of the world to see. And I really appreciate, especially, that we had those World of Remnant episodes narrated by everybody's Uncle Crow, because we needed to know that information to be able to digest that information. Even the precursor little mini episode, which showed off all of Ruby's new movement tech, it's like 2 things that does for me. Number 1, I really need to play Grim Eclipse. 2, I really want Mori to make that RWBY game, because a RWBY fighter would be hot as fuck. A 2D Blaze Blue like RWBY fighter, that shit would be hot. Some Guilty Gear RWBY shit, like, yo, that could be some hot shit. But let's actually talk about this first episode. The show did a wonderful job beforehand of building the worlds that we are about to delve into, this and the next volume. Because again, I will go back to the first 3 volumes, is that I think about the first act, I want to call it, of RWBY, which were volumes 1, 2, and 3, as a play of its own. We were introduced to the characters. The characters went over a bridge, and then the characters went crashing down in a flaming ball of fire off that same fucking bridge. Because that's how plays work. There was resolution, but a lot more questions, because this is more of an anthology than it is a 3-act play. Because if we think, because it's like, the thing is that, from my understanding, is Montione knew how he wanted RWBY to end it when he created it. It was the question of getting to the end, because, as they say, it's not about the destination, it's your journey to the destination, which is important. I do wonder, though, is what are we seeing in Volume 4 is really what he envisioned for his show to become? Is that what it would be like if he was still here? Those are questions that I have as a fan, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's not even a question that I have as a fan. It's a question that I have as a historian, as an artist, because I believe what I create is art. Hell yeah, I do. I have those questions on a different meta level, like I said, as someone who appreciates this show, as someone who understands history, and someone who understands art for a deep meaning, and wondering, what would a creator want? But those are not answers we will ever have access to. That will forever stay Montione's little secret of what would he think. So I'm feeling the new, the new lean into the anime shit. I'm feeling it. Like I said earlier, I'm feeling RWBY's movement tech. You know what I'm saying? Doing that, because who do that? Like, let me a sec. Like, who? You know what? I'm not even gonna waste time on this, because I know as soon as I stop this video, I'm gonna be, that's who that is. But it matters. But we have a whole bunch of more episodes to review, because I'm gonna be doing this like I'm gonna be doing X8 and stuff like that. So I'll find out what RWBY's movement tech reminds me of, because I really think a real straight action game though. It's like, that's why I want to play Grim Eclipse, because y'all know me, Bessie can't run this shit. So when I get around to it, I'll talk about it. But I will say this: we're off to a wonderful start as fans. If the wonderful start from the RWBY fans is getting so hyped you crashed Rooster Teeth because you trying to get this RWBY in your system, yeah. So that's all I have to say about RWBY Volume 1. Well, not it's RWBY Volume 4, Episode 1. See, that volume stuff always confused the fuck out of me. Well, with all of that being said, y'all not quite done with me yet. Y'all gonna hear from me a bit later on some other stuff, and then I got some other stuff to do, and then the Cool will be out sometime tomorrow, hopefully. And that other stuff that I said I had to go and do today, we'll talk about that once I get that all settled in. We'll have a nice little, Uncle Triple to you conversation about that. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. So let me see, wait, hold up. Oh, I remember. Oh, I'm the one and the only, the Triple, the G.O.D. And this has been another installment of yo favorite place to get the news and stuff that you may care about, because you clicked on this video to watch to hear what the fuck I had to say about it in the first place. And that, of course, being another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks. On. And with that, I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.